Hey all, this is 012 Boku coming at you with another review of. Yep, we're back to Fullmetal Alchemist again. Again, I saw that it's been 3 weeks on the tin since I've done a review. Sorry about that. It's been a busy last couple weeks. Plus, I did go and see family, and that's taken a lot of time and whatnot. And I do apologize for that. So, again, sorry, but the episode we are on now is episode 11, The Other Brothers Elric Part 1. And within this one, they get to the town of Xenotime. And in the town of Xenotime, it's this crumbling old mining town where the gold has dried up. The town doesn't have enough resources to make its own food. I guess there's apples as a resource, or no, lemons for making food with lemons, lemon pie, other things. And there's this family that's a mining family where there's a girl who is sick, and I guess a lot of other people in the town who are sick, and you'll get to that later because it's actually important. And there's an outcast uncle who the father and the rest of the family doesn't like, and the Elrics get there and show off their alchemic skill, which impresses the town, gives them all their great stuff, and but they didn't announce their names yet. And once the townspeople who helped this father's daughter, who did I? Oh yeah, her name is Elisa. They helped Elisa out underneath from a mining cart that she got trapped under. They thanked them for their help and they wanted to know their names. And you had Edward Elric say he's state alchemist Edward Elric with his brother Alphonse. And all of a sudden, the father and the townspeople say, wait, the state alchemist hero Edward Elric, the hero of the people, Edward Elric with his brother Alphonse Elric? And, Edward goes, yep, that's me, the one and only. And then they kick him out of the hotel because they say that the Elric brothers are already up there. They're helping. Doctor Mugir or Mugwar. However you say, like a subtitling difference in the show and in the pronunciation. But I'll go with what we have him in English, Mugir. And they're already helping him up there to apparently create a Philosopher's Stone, which is Philosopher's Stone will remake the gold in the town. They'll be able to replenish the mines, and they'll be able to actually, with all this gold, buy as much food as the town's people want. Edward, is right down suspicious of this. Like, right away, he goes to investigate, and it's this mansion on the top of the mountain. Him and Alphonse sneak in, and they find all this illustrious information on the Philosopher's Stone, knowing that there is work going on there with it. And then all of a sudden, you have the other Elric brothers come in. You have the older brother and the little brother basically start doing their things. And, the older brother isn't divulging much. The little brother is frightened. But basically, this older brother and Edward start to fight. The older brother definitely has skill, and he's impressed equally with Edward's skill, but he basically socks Edward right in the jaw, which creates this huge wound that Edward has throughout the entire episode. And, he basically gets flung back to where he has to balance himself on the bookshelf to just counteract what the older brother did to him. And, they're basically rushed out of the property before they're caught. And you find out, like, after that happens, that the little brother and older brother are trying to build a Philosopher's Stone because that's what their father was into, and the older brother is trying to protect their father's legacy. You also have it to where, Edward and Alphonse are kicked out of the mansion. They're basically just sitting on a cliffside, near Xenotime. And you have the uncle of Elisa, who, like I said, is the outcast. His name's Belcio. Uncle Belcio come and give the Elrics, fan outside, the Elrics, shelter for the night. And, he takes them in, and, they ask, Uncle Belcio, what's wrong with the town? Why is everybody into what this Dr. Mugir and these Elric brothers are doing. And, Edward's like, aren't you the least bit curious why we're doing it? He's like, no, you may not be who you say you are, what you claim, but I'm pretty sure you have your reasons. What business is it of mine? But then he tells the Elric brothers, Belcio does, about what's going on with the town. They're saying that Dr. Mugir came in here with aspirations and dreams, and, he's played this town for a fiddle, and and I believe he says that people in the town didn't start getting sick till after he came here. So, obviously Uncle Belcio doesn't have a, connection to Mugir or, trusts him. It comes to the next morning, and you have Elisa come in. She still wants to befriend Uncle Belcio. She wants her father and her Uncle Belcio to make up with each other, be a family again. Then you have where Edward gets up, basically wants to run off, go after the other Elric brothers, and you also have these other brothers, Elric, the imposters, doing things in town for the townspeople without the strict laws of equivalent exchange, and that's what's got Edward in a tizzy. Belcio asks Alphonse to go pick up some medicine for Elisa, so he does this errand for Uncle Belcio, and he goes into town, and, he goes to the pharmacist, but the people aren't happy with Alphonse Elric, and they kick him out of the pharmacy for being a liar, and I think they even know that they're staying with Uncle Belcio, so they kick him out because of that. And then you have Fletcher, I basically spoiled that, but if you guys know this episode, you know it already. You have the other little brother, Elric, who tells Alphonse, after they have a little conversation about, who they are. Sorry, I had a little brain fart, who they are. And, Fletcher goes in to buy the medicine. He comes out for Alicia. They helped each other out, so they get to talking. And then, Alphonse tells Fletcher a little about himself and his brother and how the older brothers are hard. And Fletcher basically lets loose on Alphonse, not like beating him up, but he basically, spills his guts to Alphonse, saying how he believes him and his brother are hurting, the townspeople here, that something, isn't right, that he feels guilty and responsible, that, he cares about his father and his father's legacy, but he thinks his brother's going too far to do it, and he thinks in a way this is also what killed their father, and he doesn't want to lose his older brother. And, that's when Alphonse inquires, are what you guys doing? Is this what's making the town people sick? Fletcher flinches, knowing it's the truth, and they basically admit it to each other. And then you have the older brother who's there, looking after Fletcher. Fletcher runs off against his little brother. Edward just misses them, and basically you have Alphonse and Fletcher cover for each other. They don't divulge to their older brothers that they met each other or what happens. Then it continues to where the Elrics are going to sneak back into the compound tonight. Also, there's actually the scene where Mugir is having this fountain of the Philosopher's Stone come into the water and seep into the aqueducts, where it's releasing this type of gas and poison, and it's going into the town. And, it's obviously that is what is getting the people sick. But while Mugir is doing his research, and also while they're doing this research, Mugir, Fletcher, and his older brother, they're wearing these masks that protect them from the fumes. And believe it or not, Mugir is being funded by Lust and whoever Lust represents. So we see Lust again, so we know the homunculi have a stake in what's going on in Xenotime. But believe it or not, in Japanese it was different. In Japanese it was sort of a flirty little threat, but in English, she threatened Mugir to basically ramp up his operations and finish and deal with the Elric brothers, or they would deal with him, as you can imagine what that means. And, the Elrics sneak back into the compound. They get caught in the poisonous gas. Alphonse, isn't affected, but Edward is. Fletcher comes and saves them. Edward recovers. There's this huge, conversation. And Fletcher did try to tell his brother at one point to like not do what he did, but he hesitated and didn't continue because Fletcher was deep or not Fletcher. Fletcher's older brother was deeper within the research. However, Fletcher's older brother comes in. Edward and Fletcher start to fight. Edward has the hand against Fletcher's older brother. Fletcher's older brother then links into the Philosopher's Stone ooze or goo or liquid, if you will, and he tries to spray it on Edward, because Edward would be incapacitated and or killed from it. So, he basically hooks up a hose with his alchemy and he starts to spray Edward. Edward almost looks like he's about to fall, but Fletcher runs at Edward, shields Edward, and Edward falls on top of Fletcher. Fletcher gets covered in the goo, and then all of a sudden, Fletcher spills the truth in his guts to his older brother, saying how, I don't want you hurt. Do you think this is what Father would have wanted? Father could have also went too far with this thing and gotten himself killed. We loved him, but you know what we're doing here in this town isn't right. And then all of a sudden they hear a whistle from inside the mansion, and they all look to the door outside, and that's where the episode ends. So again, there's a lot at stake and a lot going on in the episode, and basically characters I have to give nods to. I'll do them together. Edward, Vic Mignogna, Rumi Paku, Alphonse, Aaron Dismuke, Ria Kugamiya. Great performances from the main characters, great comedy, great, I guess you could say, deductive work that was deductive, the back and forth between the two brothers of them and their reactions, and Edward just being like, no imposter's going to intimidate me. And again, Alphonse for being a little brother, being able to confide in the little brother Fletcher was, great within that too. And that was great. Yeah, I will also give it to Russell, Justin Cook, and Kosuke Okano, who was the older brother. Kosuke Okano was equally good. The performance that he gave in Japanese, that cool, cold, and calculating older brother. Justin Cook played it very well too. Again, I don't think Justin Cook gets enough nods for the roles he's done in all the anime because he's a veteran, and I've obviously liked his body of work. And I know people say, well, he hasn't always played a lot of main characters. I'm like, it doesn't matter whether it was supporting character or main character. Justin Cook, I think he's always played great characters. And again, I didn't think that was Justin Cook. I thought that was somebody. I thought it personally was Chuck Huber, but the fact that Justin Cook played the older brother Russell, now you know his name, the older brother Russell, was great. Both Justin Cook and Kosuke Okano played a great thing. And then also as well, I have to give it to Fletcher, Avery Williams, and Minako Orikawa. Avery Williams is not the best actor, but it sounds like he was an actual kid that got to do this role. So aces for Funimation for actually going back and having an actual, boy do the results for this, because again, Avery Williams' acting was not the best, but he did what he could, and it was enjoyable. But for Minako Orikawa, a Japanese voice actress I know from other things, great performance as Fletcher, and the caring she gave and what she did was very good, and emotional. You felt the depth and the gravity and the gravitas of it, so it worked out very well and was nicely done. And then Lust, I have to give a final nod to Lust here. Laura Bailey, Yuko Sato, Lust just threatening. Dr. Mugir was great, and just like the fear, and Yuko Sato doing it in her lusty little way was great too. But Laura Bailey just giving that performance, just magic to me. But overall, it's a great first parter. It's a great mystery. You love the building they've already done with it. I know I do. And, for the discovery of the Philosopher's Stone and for the homunculi backing Mugir for whatever reason that we don't know yet, but it's like, holy crap. But, again, what do you guys think? Did you enjoy this episode? Have you liked it? Just, leave a comment down below and we'll get the discussion going, all right? See you guys again.